Not in a million years, man.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review Podcast, man. It's late night over here with Nitty. We're hanging out. So I recorded an episode earlier with Rob talking about Filth and Blatt's Shit Split and Grimple and Logical Nonsense Split. It was funny because I really was looking forward to that conversation, and then when we got there, neither of us really had a whole lot to say about it outside of like how we felt about the music, because there's not a lot of known history on those bands. Like none of them have a lot of lore. And so I don't know a lot about them anyways. So I was just kind of like, I think this will be a better conversation because I think I know a little bit about Tragedy, and I was also really into Tragedy for a while.
Yeah.
And I think you know something about the bands that you're talking about too. So I just thought it was interesting because I think we did a pretty good show for a pair of dudes that didn't really have a lot of knowledge on the subject. And I did make it a point to tell people, hey, like if you got information, throw it in the comments. Like I'm interested in knowing. Like I've never claimed to know everything, and I won't start doing that now. But before we get talking, we're going to talk about Skit System. What's the album called?
Alt E Skit.
That's right. And then Tragedy's Vengeance. Before we get going, dude, are you putting a top on that bottle? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I didn't realize the microphone picked it up. So,
bro, it picks up everything, dude.
All right. I'll
Earlier, you were rubbing it on your butt. It was weird. I heard it.
Yeah, that wasn't my butt. It's something else.
Oh shit.
No, so I'll just unscrew the top now. Then leave it off. Okay, go ahead.
So these just showed up.
Ooh,
dude, it looks good, doesn't it?
That's sexy, man. That's pretty.
Yeah, we got 150. That's how many we made. The cover, honestly, dude, I'm like really psyched about this because it's on a straight up matte cardboard finish, and that's what I've been trying to get them to do. And it looks better than I ever thought it was going to. There's not a single bit of glare on it anywhere. I fucking love it, dude. I hate glare on this stuff because it just looks ridiculous.
Oh, it's an EP.
Yeah. 5-song EP, single-sided, with a nice insert with the homies on it.
Cool. And then I like the album art.
All the lyrics are on the back. Yeah, it looks nice, man. It really came out well, and they're not expensive. I think I got them for $22 online, 20 in store. The only reason the online thing is because there's a bunch of fees involved with processing.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, if you really want one, just shoot me $20 on and plus shipping, and I'll send it to you.
Definitely.
But they all come with there we go. And I started doing the cards a little different now, and I put their actual logo on the back. I think it looks really nice. And then check this out. Last thing I'll show you, we'll talk about these bands.
All good. Is this an exclusive release?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. I really only work with a few people outside of that. Most bands I don't want to do anything if it's honestly, that's not even true. I used to think like that. I like the idea of doing co-release stuff now because it saves you money and everybody can get something cool. Like the one I'm fixing to show you, I did a 3-way release with but I mean the people I did it with, like who wouldn't want to work with Generation Exit, who are like really good friends of mine and some of my favorite musicians of all time, plus my label, plus freaking Mark Lind from the Ducky Boys. I mean, like that's like legendary shit. Who doesn't? No, man, I don't think I want to do one with him, man.
Right.
Like I don't know, bro.
That's
like,
a kind of foolish decision.
Right. And then on top of all that, he's like really good at what he does, so his music's good. But check it out. I did do a card for theirs too, because I did 100 copies on my own color. I get my own color. And it's going to be this electric blue transparent with opaque white splatter. It's going to be awesome.
That's pretty dope.
And then I did this, and dude, the back of these cards look awesome.
I love that.
Dude, this shit, it came out so good, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's awesome.
It looks like their style of stuff, dude. I mean,
yeah, no, definitely.
Like if I was to do something right now, or if it was Bullshit Detector, it'd probably be a lot scratchier or darker. But that when I saw that, I was like, that looks just like something Chris would be super psyched on. So
I love that.
Their new music's even better. What you know? What something people don't know about Generation Exit is that their first album is 10 songs. It's literally the first 10 songs they wrote. There was nothing that they threw away. It was just like, we wrote 10 songs. Well, we got 10 bangers. They put them out. And so this new split is going to be, I think, 4 songs from each band. 4 from them, 4 from Mark Lind. That'll also be about $20. We're trying to keep things affordable.
Love that.
Yeah, man. And those guys are awesome dudes. So All right, let's start with your with Skid System because I got some questions and I don't know as much about the band.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I don't mean that in like a weird way.
No, I know.
I just I have some stuff to ask you about it.
Definitely.
And yeah. So okay, hold on. I need to write this down before I make a boneheaded choice not to. All right, cool. Okay, so Skit System is the band, and the album is called Alt E Skit.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, this came out in what 04, I think is what I saw.
Yes, it was like a what do you call it? A discography record of their early years. So Skid System continued after that point.
Okay.
And they released the material up until I think maybe like a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
So they're still a band. It's just that was just like, you know, all the releases between 2001 to 2004. Or
you
whatever.
mean like Bullshit Detector Chapter 1? It's the
Kinda
same
like
thing,
that.
right?
Kinda
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Except with like 35 songs that all sound the same.
Right. Okay. Okay. Dude, you said it, bro. That is my main critique.
Yeah.
Is that I even called my wife in here.
You can't tell the difference between
I said, hey, these bands are basically in the same genre. Which one do you think has like I said is one of them seem a little bit what did I call it? Maybe I said stagnant or repetitive or something like that. And I played them both for a minute, and then she was like, I played them both, and then I played Tragedy was second, and then I played. She goes, well, and then I played System again, and she goes, oh, now I hear it.
Yeah.
That, at first she wasn't sure. Then I went back this one, back to that one, and she's like, oh, now I hear it. So yeah, that's my main critique is that after the like first 15 seconds of the song, almost every song has a very similar chord progression and a very similar drum pattern, and it's just like. And the drums are just going duck 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 duck. There's very little like drum roll or like it's just like mostly just like just straight all the way through.
So Skid System is a much rawer version of like Tragedy, right? I mean, it's kind of like if you like strip Tragedy down to its bones, you get Skid System. And you make it like way noisier, you know? Right? But Tragedy was actually influenced by bands like Skid System a lot.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it even a bit.
So Tragedy, like we'll talk about Tragedy next. Yeah. But they were part of that neo-crust kind of movement. You know what I mean? That happened. Actually, they were probably like one of the first neo-crust bands.
I was going to say I think they were one of the earlier ones that developed that like.
Yeah, you could like Skid System, like their guitars are so tuned down and like metallic sounding with so much gain and distortion that like you can't even hear chords. It's like amelodic. Like there's no melody. It's just like
that's okay. So yeah, it is there is no melody to it, and I have become okay with the fact that I like music that has melody in it. Mm-hmm. I don't really get behind stuff that is straight like. Even with metal, I think that's some of my problem with some metal stuff is that it's just like riff salad with a crazy drum beat all the way through it. And I'm like, okay, like if you give me some thrash stuff, they've got like a real fast part and then like a arpeggio sweep with a crazy little riff thing that you're like, oh, okay, it's really plain until this little part, but at least it gives me some variance. And I think that Tragedy, again, we'll get to them in a minute, is like a natural evolution of a sound like this.
100%. Tragedy made this sound really accessible to people because they're much more melodic. But I mean, not a lot of people love like Skid System or that type of music. I mean, if you like crust and that type of music, D-beat, you gravitate toward that sound already to begin with. Like, you like noisy and raw stuff. That's what you're going to get for 35 fucking minutes. You know what I mean? Straight. It's not going to stop. So it's just like unrelenting. Even me at some point, I got like halfway through it. I was like walking my dog and I'm like, Jesus, man, I got to like turn this down a little bit. Like this is just like assaulting me. And it's like just fuzzed out, noisy, kind of blown out, like the vocals. But it has an energy to it, which I really appreciate. And I really enjoy that record because it's just nasty. And I like nasty punk rock, you know. So
here's how I feel about it. I'll be real honest. This might actually surprise you. I used to listen to like Wolf Brigade.
Yeah.
I listened to Gizm a little bit, not as much.
That's really noisy stuff. I'm surprised.
That's why I didn't listen to it as much. Well, you know how I've said recently, like the reason I don't like that stuff isn't because I don't like it. It's because I can't. It gives me a headache and it makes me clench my teeth.
Yeah.
It didn't used to do that. I'm 43, so when I was like in my mid to late 20s, I listened to His Hero Is Gone. I listened to Wolf Brigade, Wolf Pack. I listened to Tragedy, Disclose. I listened because I got really, really deep into all this stuff. Like you would never even believe, dude. Like it would shock you the records I had in my collection because it was for like probably like 5 or 6 years. That's all I listened to because for this one short amount of time in Houston, like we'll get into this more later, but like Integrity got really big here.
Yeah.
Right. And then for like all the punk rock kids that liked Integrity, we discovered bands like Tragedy, and we were like, "Oh no, I like this. This is more my speed. Like I'll take Integrity, but take all the tough guy shit out of it. And what do you get? You get Tragedy, and it's like, oh, I want this." And so I had a lot of this stuff. The ones that got the most spins on the record player though were Tragedy, From Ashes Rise.
Yeah.
His Hero Is Gone got a lot of, you know, and then I started listening to a little bit of thrash. Like I just have gotten a little older and reverted back into my old ways of listening to melodic punk rock. But this band, I used to have some Skid System stuff. I never got big into it, but I had some of it. I think it was a CD that I had. I don't think I had anything on vinyl.
Yeah.
It might have even been a cassette tape. I honestly don't remember because we had tape decks in our cars still back then. But when I listened to it, I went back today and tried to give it another listen. I didn't make it all the way through the record because it's kind of long because it is a discography.
Yeah.
But I did listen to a big chunk of it again. And I got to say, man, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. And I think that this is not, I think Skid System is probably at like the middle point of what I think of when I think of some of the noisy stuff that you like. If you're looking at like the spectrum of stuff, and let's say Tragedy is the cleaner stuff.
Yeah.
I think Skid System is about midway down that. And then you get to some stuff. I think when you get a little bit noisier than this is probably where I check out.
Yeah.
Because when I listened to it in my headphones, I almost couldn't really handle it. Right. But I listened to it in my car today and I was like, okay, I need to take it out of my headphones. And so I put it on in my house, like here with my stereo. I got a nice stereo. So when you add like an equalizer and a subwoofer in the corner of my room, suddenly that white noise was just tempered a little bit. And so I just turned it up pretty loud and I was like, oh, I can listen to this. I just can't do it in headphones. So I think I'm figuring out like, oh, there's just music that my ears are too old for if I listen to it like crammed in my shit like this.
Also, you mentioned you listen to this kind of music for fiber. You can get burned out on this stuff if you listen to it too much. Even I
did. I just completely quit listening to it. Like I just one day dropped it.
I mean, I go through phases where I listen to stuff, right? Like I'll get really into
me too.
I'll get like really, really into like reggae for like fucking like a couple of months and listen to almost nothing but reggae. And I'll just like fucking just be immersed. I'll get into nothing but like, I don't know, orcore bands that I like, you know, whatever I fucking hate that term, but whatever.
But you know what it means though.
Yeah, I know. It's for some reason I do. But
because of me probably.
No. I mean, I heard the term before. I was just like, but then you're like punknews.org. I'm like, what? Okay, all right, whatever. So whatever, like the more like poppy kind of, you know, stuff, melodic stuff. I'll get into, you know, hardcore for a while. So I had these phases where I go into things, but I come back around again at some point. So it's like I'll cycle through different genres. And this is one of those genres I cycled through a lot. I play in a hardcore band like this too, a D-beat band. So it's like I'm around this kind of stuff a lot. And, these guys rip. Like as musicians, they're fucking phenomenal. But it's hard to hear a lot of it if, you know, like you said, you have a good stereo. So you can kind of like equalize things and you can hear more of what's going on. Oh, there's the bass.
It helps give it a fuller, a more broad palette of sound. You don't have to worry about it being just because some of the stuff that you're jamming when you request things, because you do give me a pretty big spectrum of stuff, but some of the more noisy stuff, I think they actually go through the process of putting noise in the music. I don't think that stuff's brought through with guitar and amps. And if it is, it's some kind of weird thing that they're doing because it's got like a layer of actual white noise. I cannot listen to that stuff. And fucking annoying part is more than one of those songs that you've brought to the table. I'm like, well, I like the guitar riff. I can just barely hear it. And it's like, so I think I'm finding my comfort zone with this stuff. But I used to have a lot of this stuff on like physical media. I wish I still did, but some of it I lost through stupid reasons. Some of it I lost in the fucking flood. I mean, but I don't know how much of this I had. I think I had one. I don't think it was this, but it might have been this CD, bro. It came out in 2004. It was definitely sometime around 2005 or 2006 when I was doing all this. But the only ones that I kept through all the years was Tragedy and From Ashes Rise, which I think coincidentally are like the same band with different singers or something like that, right? Or maybe like they share members or something.
No, they don't actually at all.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah.
Oh man,
we'll get into them next. They're part of like a family tree, but essentially like His Hero's Gone, From Ashes Rise, and Tragedy. They're all buddies.
Oh, maybe that's what it was then.
They all came from like Memphis and Nashville, and then they moved to Portland.
Yeah, of course they did. So where's SKITSYSTEM from?
Sweden.
That's Swedish what I thought. Okay, they're Swedish. So they're singing like half in English and half in what, Swedish?
Yeah, it's a lot of. I mean, you can fucking hardly hear what the guy's saying half the time, but it's a lot of Swedish. Like all the song names are Swedish, right? For the most part. But they're a bunch of like metal guys that ended up being in a D-beat band. So it's like death metal dudes, right, from Sweden, because Sweden, big death metal. Country.
What's that one band that I like from
At the Gates?
Yeah, that band's awesome.
So the singer of At the Gates was in SKITSYSTEM for a while.
That's fucking wild.
So he was between like 2001 to like 2005. He was in SKITSYSTEM, but he also had another side project other than At the Gates.
Huh.
Dysphere. So
I know Dysphere. So you told me that and I was like, what? I had no idea.
Right, yeah. So he was also the vocalist for that band as well. Tompa Lindbergh. So SKITSYSTEM's been through a couple of different lineup changes, but in its infancy, it pretty much contained two members of At the Gates. And then
was Dysphere the one that I really didn't like much?
I think you'd like Dysphere.
I think I did. They're a little cleaner.
They're cleaner. Yeah, they're more melodic. Yeah, I think they'd fall more.
Japanese stuff really rocks my world, man.
Yeah, Japanese stuff.
I can't get into that stuff. It's way too noisy for me.
It's Japanese bands really take it to the next level with that shit.
Right, yeah. I got respect for this stuff, man. People just think I don't because I get grumpy when we stream for 3 hours.
Well, it's late, you've had a long day. You want to hear music that you can actually chill and relax to. I get it.
That is actually something I never really thought about much. But yeah, I usually get home and I'm like already tired before we even start. But I love this shit. You notice that Wednesdays are always the nights where I can go the longest and I have the most.
I've noticed that.
It's because on Wednesday I'm here. I'm not at my shop all day.
Also on Friday nights you tend to go pretty late too.
Yeah, Fridays when people are having a good time. Weekends just starting. I'm usually not near as tired. Sundays are hard. Sundays are the hardest because I'm usually the most tired. I've worked all weekend but it's all good though, man. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do it at all. So,
hell yeah, and we are grateful for you.
What is Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna mention that this band. I was trying to look stuff up about them earlier, and they're just one of those Swedish bands that just kind of stuck around for a long time, and they follow suit with like Anti-Cimex and all those other bands that came from.
That's another band I used to like a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to like a lot more of this stuff when I was younger, and also I think when you're younger, this stuff appeals to you more, anyways. All that chaotic shit when you're young, you need that stuff. Well, at least when you're one of us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember very much being in my early 20s, and not only did I like this stuff more, but I was into more hardcore bands too. Like I wanted to hear like I think if I'd have been like 19 when Knock Loose dropped, I'd probably be like maybe not like a big fan, but I'd like them okay. Because I used to love Integrity. I used to love Hatebreed. I still do. I still love Integrity and Hatebreed. I love Terror. The one that always blows people away is that I like Gulch so much. I don't even know how that happened, bro. I love that band.
Yeah, Gulch. Those guys are from around here. I told you they're in like an oi band now.
That's so awesome and weird.
Basilica Ruin. They're pretty good. We played with them one
time.
Oh
shit, dude! I need to write that down. I knew that, man.
Yeah. But they haven't released anything. It was really weird. Like we played one show with those guys in a basement in San Francisco, and it was the dude from Gulch, like the singer with the bald head guy.
You're like, wait a minute, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and it was a fucking just oi band. I mean, but it was like dirty, like nasty oi stuff,
I feel that though. Hey, that's even more. That's like mixing our two worlds. I'll take it.
Yeah. It was like more like hardcore oi.
Okay, like Tommy's band.
Slugger.
Thank you. Yes, Slugger. My brain just went. But
yeah, maybe I would say yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, like Slugger.
Dude, shout out Slugger, bro. Every time I get an opportunity, dude, I love those guys. Tommy's awesome.
Yeah.
The whole band's cool. And I think it's funny they've gotten to, be around me enough now to where like even the other guys in the band kind of go, "Oh, what's up, man? I know you."
That's
so
cool.
It's cool, man. They're all super nice dudes. I love when like big tough guys, you see them and go, "Oh, hey man, what's up?"
It was funny when I went to go see Steve Obsidian's band play.
Rally Cry. Shout out Rally Cry.
I drove like an hour and a half to go see that full, and he drove 4 hours, and then he drove 4 hours home that night too.
That's
back to Bakersfield.
Fucking retarded.
Because his kid's birthday was the next day.
Oh man, good on him, dude.
Yeah, he's a really good man. I really enjoyed seeing him.
I was super jelly. Y'all got to hang out. I was like, come on, man.
No, but it was crazy just being around like a skinhead scene.
Yeah.
I don't see that very often. And you're like, oh, where the fuck these people come from all of a sudden?
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, and then you go to like a show and there's like a bunch of skinheads. You're like, what? I don't see you like in everyday life like walking around. Like
I went to
interesting.
Who did I go see that was like that? You know what? Violent Way played here, and I was like, and there was like, I don't know, 70% of the crowd were people I had never seen, but they were all like very clearly skinhead dudes. And then most of them were wearing like sharp buttons and stuff. And there was a bunch of mixed bag of folks. Like there was black dudes, white dudes, Asian cats. Like,
I like that.
Dude, Houston's got a pretty diverse skinhead crowd. I like it, man. And then like early 2000s and late 90s, I didn't recognize that as much. But now it's super diverse, man. Yeah, like two of our more, I don't know what the word is, prominent, I guess, like more like always around people. They're both black. And I think that's awesome because anytime anybody has some smart ass shit to say, I can go, no, dude, like, could you just pay attention?
Right.
But somebody told me the other day, just tell people that have questions, say, no, man, skinhead wouldn't even exist without like Jamaica. And I'm like, oh, that's such an easy way to explain it. Like,
Normally people
don't system though.
Yes, SKITSYSTEM. That's really pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, how many albums do they have out? Do you know?
Oh, jeez.
Is it a whole bunch of shit? Do they do like all these other bands like this? Do they release a bunch of 7 inches?
They're just okay. I can tell you, they have 1, 2, 3 full-length albums.
Okay, that's more than
they have 3 EPs, and they have 3 splits.
So no, that sounds about like that sounds exactly like what a D-beat band would have.
Yeah,
or a crust band, whatever you want to call it.
But it's crazy.
Hey, look, dude, how hard is it to decipher the difference between the two? Because I can't.
Crust punk is, I mean, D-beat. There's a very specific beat that's being played.
Yeah, I'm aware, but like, man, most crust punk bands, at least now, modern ones, they have that same beat going through most of their songs.
Sort of. A lot of crust punk bands can just be kind of like more chaotic without the D-beat.
Give me an example of one, not for like argumentative reasons, just like so I can understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Let me think of a crust punk band that's not a D-beat band.
Okay, is Phil the crust band?
Yeah, I would consider Phil the crust band.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more like an aesthetic. Leftover Crack kind of made crust really accessible.
Yeah, they did. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because I guess
Choking Victim, stuff like that.
Yeah, like crust punk also kind of bleeds into folk punk too a little bit.
It can.
It does. It does a lot because it's like those guys are poor and they just buy acoustic guitars instead of a fucking amp.
Yeah, it just falls into different kind of umbrellas, you know.
Yeah,
D-beat is like one subsect or genre of crust, I guess you could say.
So, I guess all the bands that have the Discharge font, those are all D-beat bands.
Oh, for sure. It's
Tragedy's D-beat.
Yeah.
From Ashes Rise. Yeah, it's just like it really gets confusing when you get into the older ones because they all have like real lo-fi recordings, especially with like Crust and DB. They all have very bad lo-fi recordings.
A lot of times they do, yeah. That's why, when you hear bands, I wouldn't say SKITSYSTEM had a lo-fi recording. I think I actually think their recordings are pretty good.
This one was better than I expected it to be, especially when I heard it on the stereo. Like outside of the headphones, I thought it was actually a little. I thought I was a little bit taken aback by the lack of white noise, and very, very grateful for the lack of it.
No, totally. I was like, damn, I don't know how Randall's gonna make it through this record.
The headphones were hard, but and the first time I listened to it, I listened to the whole thing with the headphones on. And I told you, I said it had me grinding my teeth. That's when. So like, I think the key to that kind of music is just doing it on a different speaker. The car didn't sound good, but sometimes the cars just don't sound good.
It depends on the car system too, like the stereo that you have.
So there's so many different things that come into play with that, like the band, the recording, the mastering sometimes. But
do you remember back in the day on computers, there's the Winamp little equalizer?
No, dude, I didn't used to have a computer because I was poor. I didn't have a computer until I was like, I was probably my very first computer. I was probably 25, and then my first like decent one was probably like less than 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I had like smartphones kind of early on because I worked for Sprint, but I didn't have.
So back in the day, a lot of it's like what do you call it? A plugin. So back in the day on like Windows computers, you could get this plugin called Winamp, and it was like a 16-band EQ essentially.
Yo, that's tight.
So you could like all the shit that you were listening to, you can fucking
like mess with it
yourself.
Oh, dude, I think everything should have that. I can't believe phones don't have that. It blows my mind.
I love that. Yeah. So I used to fuck with that all the time on my dad's computer. But
yo, I wonder if I have a equalizer in my Play Store.
You might. I mean, you got a Android, right? So you can.
I do, yeah.
All right. So
yeah, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rank this Skit System compilation?
Well,
because this is your shit, so I want to know what you think about it.
I really like this band a lot. I got to be in the mood to listen to it, of course.
Yeah.
You know? This isn't the kind of stuff you just like throw on like a Sunday morning. You know what I mean? Unless you're like in some kind of mood.
Yeah, not unless you're some kind of psycho.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get, it's just the energy. It's just really edgy and abrasive. But I think it's great. I think for what they do, that's why I picked this record. I couldn't think of another D-beat album that I really like know that well, because I wouldn't even consider myself a D-beat connoisseur necessarily, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll give it an 8. I'm not giving it a 10 because, like, you know, there's not.
It doesn't have enough guitar work to get a 10 out of me. No. Yeah. I need like guitar leads and like no album out there will get a 10 if it doesn't have like guitar leads.
You're not kidding.
It might get a 9.5 or 9.7 even, but not a 10, dude. 10s are like they have everything I want, and then also a great guitar player that does like really good. I don't need like crazy Megadeth shit in there. I just need like a good like rock and roll. I like that sound. It sounds awesome to me.
You're not going to get any rock and roll out of these guys.
Shit, no. Or if you do, this is like the rock and roll is like most pure form, honestly.
It's just the guitars are tuned down, so it's like you're not going to get like your typical melodies and chord progressions, you know. But I think for what it does, when I listen to music, I'm looking for like an effect, you know. I want it to hit in a certain way, and it scratches that itch for me. That's why I'm giving it an 8, you know.
I actually give it a 7.5, so we're not far off.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the only reason I don't go any higher, there's 2 reasons. 1, because it's a little bit long for me, and 2, because of the lack of like intricate guitar work, which it is what it is, man. But listen to this. My notes, I wrote these notes like almost a week ago.
All right.
My opinion has changed a little bit since then, but it's this. My whole entire notes, it just says this. Terrible drummer. The guitar is too muddy and never changes at all. But great bass tone though.
Wow.
That's all I wrote. I stand behind the guitar is too muddy and never changes statement. I think the drummer got caught some strays for some reason. I don't really know why. But I also put down tracks 2, 5, 11, 18, and 19. So those must have stuck out to me.
Okay.
As like the ones I like the most. So I think that's cool that I had some tracks to point out, honestly.
Yeah, I'm like, I was gonna like just like fuck with you and ask you. So which ones did you like the most?
How fucked would it have been if you'd asked that and I'd had an answer for you? You'd have been like, oh shit.
You're like, well, like Murar Machtens Rasmar.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or whatever the fuck. Because you know what the funny thing is to me? Sometimes the funniest thing is when I request music from like other countries, you're like, I'm not even gonna fucking try to say that, dude.
Bro, I tried a couple times. I was like, all I'm gonna do is butcher this and make these people feel bad. So I'll just be respectful. I'll be respectful and go, this band. Look at the picture, guys.
No, I get it. I couldn't even tell you what. I mean, this album.
I had more songs to pick out than you did. That's fucked up.
It's just like I don't really listen to this record as a like I'm gonna pick this song right now. You know, I'm more like, okay, I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm just gonna let this play for 30 minutes. You know.
Do you ever do that, but start it like in the middle so you don't hear the same fucking 10 songs every time?
I'll just I definitely like fast forward. Definitely. Yeah. So okay, let's see.
Sometimes I'll play an album on the B side first.
Yeah.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Right. Yeah, you get a different so standout songs 1, 2, 4, 5.
People are like, yeah, what are these songs called, guys? Did you say 1, 2, 4, and 5? Stop it, dude. 1 through 5.
I did 1, 2, 4, 5. I don't want to say these words, man.
No, but I'm just saying, like you said, 1, 2, 4, 5. Just say 1 through 5, like
1 through 5, man. and then fucking 5 through 19.
Yeah, I was like, he's like the whole album's pretty solid, man. But I'll just tell you, it's 1. I like 19, 18, 17.
Fuck number 4 can suck a dick.
Yeah, I like 1, 2, 5, 4, and 3. I like 19, 18. I like 15, 16, 17. You know, like, wait a minute, is this guy just saying all the numbers out of order? Like, maybe I am.
Yeah. I'm just. I wish I had more to say about this record, man.
Oh, dude, stuff like this, there's not much to say. I mean, let's be honest about it. When you get an album like this, it's like, hey, do I like it? Yeah. Okay. Well, what do I like about it? Here's what I like about it. Hey, what are these guys from? They're from here. Hey, what else do you know about them? Not much. Cool. I mean, it's
right.
I'll say what I said in the other video with Rob in this video too. I don't know a lot about this band. We're covering this album because Nitty picked it.
Yeah, I did.
I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to. Probably much more than you thought I was going to. So if you're a fan of this stuff, instead of crapping on us, or me specifically, which is usually I'm the target, like, just tell us what's up. Like, what's up with this band? What do you like about this band? What are they known for? Is there something that they did that I didn't know about? Like, I didn't go do a bunch of research to talk about it one album. I just listened to the record and we're talking about it. So if you're a fan of the band, by all means, dude, let us know some shit, dude.
Yes,
let me know what's up with Skid System.
Give me some education on this band, because the internet only tells me so much.
I mean, just because you picked that album doesn't mean fuck all, dude. You might just picked it because you liked it. Like, who cares? You may not know a lot about it, but you know, this is a community. Let's be a community.
Well, the reason I picked this record was because a friend gave me a bunch of CDs in a box one day, just a box of CDs. And I pulled this out randomly. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's got a weird cover. And I put it on and I'm like, whoa, this is actually pretty cool. So,
I mean,
that's the story.
I think that's how we discover a lot of stuff, though. Like, just as music fans. Like, I mean, when that guy gave me the box of tapes, I don't know if I told you this before, but I was at a record store and I was looking. I was just in there and I had a skateboard. I was young, dude. I was probably 15 or 16. It was right when I started listening to punk. Probably 15. I might have even been 14. It was like mid 90s, dude. And Rancid Out Come the Wolves had come out. I had it on cassette tape. And so this guy comes in and he's like this dude, like tall, very tattooed punk guy. But this isn't like the 90s, bro.
Yeah.
Like, tattoos were like, they weren't all prisoners anymore. But if you had like neck tattoos, you were looked at as like, okay, that guy's probably up to something, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so he walks in and he smells like cigarettes. He's got tattoos. He's got this big box. And he's like, yo, whatever, to the guy that works there. He's like, I brought some stuff for you. And the guy's like, all right, I'll come up there in a second or whatever. And back then you could sell tapes just like you can vinyl now, right?
Yep.
And so I'm standing there and I'm looking. I'll never forget it. It was at Diamond Head Records. It's on Luetta out in Houston, or Spring. If anybody knows if anybody's from here, it was Diamond Head Records. Tell me if you remember this place. It was an awesome record store. So I'm standing there and I think I might have had my skateboard with me and I had on like a t-shirt and shorts or whatever. And this guy's like, he's looking at me and I'm in the punk section, which is only like, 5 rows of CDs and those little plastic anti-theft things. And I'm flipping through them. And the guy's like, he's like, what's up, kid? And I was like, and I'm all nervous. And he's like, he starts laughing. He's like, what are you doing over here? And I'm like, I'm just looking at stuff. And he's like, yeah, what do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't have a clue what you're asking me right now.
Yeah,
I was so intimidated. And he's like looking, and I'm not a very tall person anyways, but this dude was real tall. And I said, I like Rancid. And he goes, yeah, what do you know about Rancid? And I was like, I don't know. I like this. And I pulled out Out Come the Wolves. And he goes, it's a pretty good record, man. He goes, have you heard their old stuff? And I was like, I don't know what to say.
Oh,
I was
nice.
like,
He put you up on game.
Bro, so I said, I heard the red cover one. And he goes, yeah. I said, my friend gave me a tape with it. And he goes, okay, that's called Let's Go or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then he has this box. And he's like, dude, I wish I could do this for somebody. I've done similar things, but this changed my life, man. He's looking at this box and he's like, hey, can I give these to this kid? And the guy's like, man, I don't care. They're your tapes. And then he goes, all right. And he digs around in the box for a minute and he pulls out a tape and he sticks it in his shirt pocket. And he goes, here, man. And he goes, take these home. You live far? And I was like, no, I can walk home. He goes, all right, man, take them home. And he hands me this box and I'm looking at it and it's like mostly like tapes with the artwork. Like he was definitely going to get some money for this.
Yeah. And
like he just gave it to me. Dude, it was probably 30 tapes. Dude, it was a big ass box of tapes.
What was in there?
And, dude, self-titled Rancid, Bad Religion All Ages, fucking bro, Pennywise Full Circle, all this Epitaph stuff, but there was also shit like there was a Crass tape in there. There was a Dead Kennedys tape was in there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had, I think that's where I first got my copy of the Minor Threat tape.
There you go.
And there was
man.
Black Flag was in there. It was like a starter kit, bro. I felt like he probably had gotten into some deeper stuff and was like, here's the surface level shit. I'll go sell this stuff, you know?
Totally.
He just gave it to me, man. And like some of it I didn't care for. I never really got into Black Flag like that. Minor Threat I took to immediately. The first Rancid record I fell in love with for a few years. For a few years, that's all I listened to. I thought, oh, this is the real like grimy shit. And I didn't know, I didn't know what D-Beat was. I didn't know what Discharge was back then.
Yeah.
And dude, it was awesome, man. He came in and he gave me all these fucking tapes, man. And like he was such a rad dude. But like there's a few things in my life that I wish I still had. Those tapes is one of them. But I also was given a tape when I was like 14. And it just said, I think it just said punk fucking rock written on it with like a ballpoint pen on the little white sticker label.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it said. The other side had nothing on it. And it was a gray, might have been a TDK tape, I think. And it was just written on there, punk rock or punk fucking rock or something like that. And I listened to it forever, dude. Yeah. And it comes to find my friend's brother-in-law or stepbrother gave it to him. And my buddy didn't like punk much. And his brother was like a skater guy. And he was like, here, man, you like this stuff. And he's like, here, I think he might have got a CD player or something. But he gave me this tape. And it was a 90-minute tape. And it was Mr. T Experience, The Queers, and I think it had Screeching Weasel on one side. And on the other side, it was Less Than Jake, Operation Ivy, and I can't remember the other band. Some old-ass ska band from like I don't know, 98. Maybe I was 15 when he gave me that. I'm trying to think of what year it was. I don't fucking remember. Anyways, that tape, it didn't have a label on it, but I just listened to it. So that's how I heard some of those bands. I didn't even know I liked those bands until years later. I heard them again, and I was like, oh, shit, I know this song. Yeah. It was on that tape that guy gave me. Yeah. And I wish I had that tape still. But I had a big box of cassette tapes that I gave to my sister. And it's crazy, too, because I gave them to my sister. She then gave them to our brother. He took them to Chicago and gave them to their cousin. That dude took those tapes, became like a punk rock fanatic, and he's now currently right now, this is like 30 years ago almost, dude. He's right now a full-time like punk rock musician, bro. That's all he does. Like through me giving this shit to them and them going out of town, he never would have heard this shit if it wasn't for me getting them from these other people. It's cool how this stuff works, man.
Yeah, that's how shit, it's magic. It's magical.
Dude, the fucking power of a mixtape, bro. People don't even understand.
And you like remember those tapes. It's like these stupid little tapes that you get. Like, I know we're getting off subject here, but we'll go to tragedy in a second. You know, Adam Welch was this kid, like punk kid that was like a grade older than me. And I asked if I could borrow his jacket to go to my first like local punk show, you know, because he had, you know, patches on his shit.
Oh yeah. I already knew.
And I'm like, bro, like, can I borrow your jacket? And he's like, this is my jacket. Like, what? Why? You know? But you know, finally,
like I'm trying to get laid, man.
Nah, he wasn't getting laid anytime soon.
No, I said you were.
I mean, I was just trying to be cool. I want to go to the punk rock show, you know. And
right.
I remember that he sighed. He took off his jacket. He's like, just bring it back tomorrow. It's like a corduroy jacket, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then he gave me a tape with Rancid, self-titled, the first album on one side, and AFI, Very Proud of You on the other side.
Now that is a cassette tape, sir.
And both East Bay bands. I'm from the Bay Area. That was like a time for me. I must have been 15, around the same age as you at that point in my life. So I get it.
Awesome.
And you know, you don't forget about those tapes, you know, and every once in a while I'll kind of like go to my folks' house and like I'll dig through shit trying to find stuff. And, like,
I wish I had that. So this is what I'm going to do for somebody that's watching this video right now. Somebody that's watching it, the first person that emails me is going to get a response from me. I've got this tape right here, right? It is a blank cassette. It is not even opened yet. It is completely solid black. I got these for a specific reason. The reason never came to fruition, but I do have ways to make mixtapes still. I'm going to make a mixtape, and I'm going to send it to somebody. Yeah, that's that. There's nothing else to it. I'm just going to make a fucking dope tape and send it to somebody.
Yeah.
So email me if you want this, and just as long as you're in the U.S., so it's not $75 to ship it to you, I'll make it and send it to you.
It's going to be Andrew. Watch.
Fucking Andrew. I'll throw it in the box, buddy. You know what, dude? Okay. This is how fucking awesome I am. Check this out. Real talk, motherfucker. Mixtape.
I can't. It's all blurry. Oh, Career Criminal. Oh shit. Okay, here we go. Nice.
Guess who that's for?
I know that's for.
It's fucking Andrew.
Yeah. He
made that shit for him like about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. People think I'm bullshitting, bro. I still make tapes, bro. I fuck around and do this shit all day.
I love that. All right, should we move on to tragedy?
Never. No, we should talk about Rancid some more. Because, you know, that's what they're here for if they saw Skit System in the title. Yeah. They're probably like, we done turned this shit off. Okay.
I'm ready for the comments. What do you mean you don't know about Skit System? The greatest D-beat band to come out of Gothenburg, Sweden.
Well, you'll probably not read those. I will, and then I'll feel bad about myself. It's okay.
Nah, don't feel bad about yourself, man.
I don't give a shit. People can fucking eat a fat wiener if they want to. All right. So in the year of our Lord, 1999, we get an American crust punk band from Portland. They're not from Portland, dude.
They're not from Portland. They're
out of Portland.
Yes.
Tragedy. Okay, they're from Memphis, Tennessee.
They are.
Oh shit! I forgot about Death Threat. All one word, Death Threat.
Yeah.
That band.
Look at all those bands these guys.
Dude, it's ridiculous, man. That band was awesome too, man.
Yeah,
anyways, we got Tragedy, right? They put out a couple of albums, but in 2002, I think 2002, we get what I personally think of as their greatest record, Vengeance. I mean, some people say Nerve Damage. I like that a lot too. I think Vengeance is a slight bit better, but they're both really great albums. Man, how long is this record? Tragedy's Vengeance.
It's like 38 minutes.
Yeah, dude, it's 39 minutes, 12 songs. So they're like a little bit longer. Like some of them are real short. Then they have a couple that are like 4 minutes. They have a few of them that are like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Because they do like epic Crusty D beat, man. Like they're like they do epic songs, man. So here's the thing. I'm again gonna not pretend that I know everything about this band. When I was, I don't know, in my early 20s, I was explaining this in the other part of the video to Nitty. Houston and Texas specific, like just the whole state, really. We got into the Cleveland hardcore thing real bad, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but that morphed into like D beat stuff. We went from like Integrity and Ringworm, and then we discovered like Tragedy. And I probably was listening because I already listened to Discharge back then, but I didn't think of Discharge as anything other than a punk band. They were just like a street punk band to me back then. Like I just was like, yeah, they're just like a little more chaotic, a little darker, but they're just a punk band. Like when you're real young and it's 25 years ago, like this shit was just punk or it wasn't punk. It was hardcore or it wasn't hardcore. Like I didn't care. And then I started learning about like subgenres to even like the subgenres. And I didn't know what power violence was until I was like almost 30, man. I didn't know what fucking crust punk was. I knew drunk punks, but that was more like a style of dress more than anything. It was more like I don't know. Anyways, bro, I started rambling about shit. But I got a hold of, I want to say maybe Death Threat and His Heroes Gone were the ones that were introduced to me first. And I liked it. I liked it okay. But as we've established on this channel many times, I like melody. And I like a little bit of production with my stuff too, man. It takes me a while to get into bands that have like, I don't know, I don't want to say bad production. That's not really the right word because some of it's intentional. But like, lower fi production, like a little noisier, less sleek. I like that stuff, but I have to get into it through the back door, man. I can't just be like, here's ultra noisy crust band. I can't do that. I need to hear the more accessible stuff first, and I got to work my way into the less accessible stuff. So I got into like His Heroes Gone, Death Threat. What other bands did I listen to? Let me pull up that list again. There was a few of them. Death Threat, Severed Head of State. I heard a few times. I can't remember if I even liked them.
They're I think they're an Austin band, a Texas.
Maybe
band.
that's why I heard of them then. There was a few bands from we had who that band Look Back and Laugh felt like it fit this kind of crew a little bit. Also, God, what was that band that was from here?
Storm the Tower?
No, hold on. There was a band. When I remember their name, it's going to make me irritated. I can't pull it up right now. Let's see here. I think they were in like World Burns to Death.
World Burns to Death. That's right. Yeah, that's them. They shared members. I think.
With Severed Head of State?
Yeah. Or they did a split together at least.
Okay, so like those dudes were around my scene quite a bit, and I think that's how I got introduced to like Death Threat and His Heroes Gone.
Yeah.
And then I think I was like into it. I don't know why I said I think. I remember being like into it like a little bit, and like if they played live, I'd go hang out and see them. And I think a lot of that stuff was better live than it was on albums to me at that point.
This was like what, 2005, 2006?
Probably around that time, yeah. And then somebody was like, "Have you heard Tragedy yet?" And I was like, "No." Like, no. They're like, "You should hear this, man. I think you'll like it." Like, it's real dark. And I was like, dude, that's what it was. We were all like listening to like really dark ass music. All of us were sad little pussy motherfuckers, bro. We were all like, we're fucking girls and shit. And everything we need is sad music. And we were listening to like everything we were listening to had like a dark tone to it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Pains, Alkaline Trio, it all had this like tone to it. But I needed something like beefier. And the guy brought me Tragedy. And God, who brought it? Might have been Jaron, might have brought me that. Maybe Dennis. I don't know. One of my buddies brought it to me and they let me hear. I think it was Vengeance, the first one.
Oh, so you guys listen to like sad boy emo stuff, emo pop punk stuff?
Like just dark. We were like, not really, because we weren't listening to like My Chemical Romance, but it was like old AFI, fucking this band, The Phantom Pains, which is like Nerve Agents type stuff. It has like this like darker tone to it. Like all the chords they use are that real dark.
But it's still kind of poppy. That stuff is pretty melodic.
Yeah, but I wanted something heavier, and that's when they brought me Tragedy. They're like, "Hey, it's got the melody, but it's like heavier and angrier." And the vocals really grabbed me. I liked them immediately. I was like, "Oh, this dude sounds like he's gargling with fucking bourbon."
Yeah, for sure, man.
And I got a hold of this. I liked it a lot pretty quick. Like it got to where I would say that Tragedy got the most airplay out of all these bands, even though they're not my favorite. My favorite's From Ashes to Rise. But it's just the one album. That's the problem, is that Nightmares is the only album that I really like by them.
They have another one too, but it's a little less.
Right. And the thing is that Tragedy's got two that are like absolutely amazing.
Have you heard Tragedy's last record that came out in like 2018? Dude,
I didn't even know they had an album in 2018 until I looked at this and I went, what?
It's very different. In fact, the one that came out in like 2012 it's almost like a metal album. It's like
that doesn't
slower.
Surprise me.
Like, no. That guy Paul Burdette, after Tragedy, he went like full like black metal.
That doesn't surprise me at all, though. This stuff is like, that's where you're headed when you're listening to it. If you're playing this music, you're headed towards fucking Burzum. Like the one thing I don't really know anything about black metal, so that's the only band I know.
I'll let you keep going, and then I'll add my 2 cents about.
No, I was just saying, like, you're playing this music. If you're into this, and this is the trajectory you're on, like, I found this. I just added it to my collection of stuff I was already into. But if I was like into this and then making this music, you're headed a specific direction, man. Like, when you're playing music, you're already 2 steps ahead of what you're playing. You're already into shit that's down the road.
Totally.
So I'm not surprised that this dude turned into like a black metal guy. That's not surprising at all. Yeah, it's a little disappointing, but whatever.
I mean, it's not straight up black metal. I mean, he's still a punk rock guy, right? So it's like it has elements of like I was watching this interview with him and this guy from like the pandemic days, like 4 years ago, and he was saying that after Tragedy's last record, some of the guys in the band wanted to keep playing hardcore and D-beat stuff, and he was like, creatively, he was like in a different place. He wanted to venture out more and do different, more ambient kind of stuff.
How many times can you write an album like this, bro?
Right, that's exactly.
Not get stale.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? But I mean, even this record, I think, like, I was listening to it and I'm like, some of these songs can be a lot shorter. They have a lot of these like instrumental kind of like interlude parts.
Yeah.
And they like build up, or they'll do these like.
Well, that's one of the things I like about From Ashes Rise. It's straight to the point.
Yeah. I mean, they got the build-ups too and stuff, but
not like Tragedy, bro. They're way more like.
Tragedy is like build up, song, okay, end. And it's just like, that's how their songs are. And it's like in the middle, you got this fast D-beat, crusty shit that's super riffy. And then at the end, it's just like, it's just like single note picking, moody shit, So, but anyway, it's cool.
Sorry. No. Well, okay. So I'm getting like hype on this right now, dude, because I really do like this band. I like.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're a great band, without a doubt. They're a great band.
Their music to me is like, you can't listen to. Okay, with Skit System, I could definitely put 3 or 4 of those songs on a mixtape, and it could go in with like another mix of like other crazy sounds, right?
Yeah.
Tragedy, you maybe 1 or 2 of their songs you could do that with, but by and large, you need to listen to their album. It's a cohesive piece of artwork that you need to listen to from front to back. It tells a story. It may not be like an actual story, but it tells a story within its music, and I kind of like that on this, because on certain bands you don't need. I find myself doing that with Rancid a lot. I'll put on an album, and I'm like, I can't listen to like at the middle of it. I have to just listen to the album. It tells me a story. It may be my story, but it's a story nonetheless, right? With this album, you get a story out of it, man. Like with conflicting ideas. It's like 2 songs in one, like you were saying, man. Yeah. It's a little over 3 minutes, and it changes abruptly. I like the second part a little bit better. It's heavier, it's slower, it's a bit more melodic. But the only thing that I really wrote down about this is this band's combination of dark, goth-esque sounds and riffs with fast D-beat drumming, very ferocious barking vocals, and fantastic production is a sound I've never really heard replicated. Maybe a little bit with From Ashes Rise, but I mean, that's it. Some of the same people, I think, maybe. I'm not really that surprised if it is. And then I put, this stuff was huge in the mid-2000s in Houston. Everyone was listening to Tragedy and Integrity and wearing tight black jeans with denim jackets.
That's pretty funny.
Dude, it's so true.
Isn't it crazy to see like styles and fashions change? Like with the music that your friends are listening to.
I look exactly the same as I did back then, but if I look at photos, all my friends looked a little different.
Did you ever wear tight pants?
Me?
Yeah.
If I wore pants, I always wear shorts. But yeah, I wore black skinny jeans. I still have a pair.
There was a time where the skinny jeans thing was.
I don't wear like skin tight though. I wear like skinny jeans as in they taper. They don't go out like a.
Some of those crust guys, you look at them like, dude, their balls are fucking constricted.
I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I can see your whole dick, dude. Like your whole dick is showing to me
with
right
now.
With
like the boots on and shit. Like,
yes,
damn,
bro.
Dude.
So okay, I put one thing I want to write down or say real quick is the title track. Vengeance is probably the best song on the album, right? And I put the Galloping Triplets in the title track. Bro, I love this shit so much. Kind of like if someone was raised on Manowar and then discovered Discharge as they were starting to get a band together.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like some kid listening to Manowar, tried to get a band together. It took him 2 years. As he was getting it put together, he discovered fucking Discharge, still had Manowar in his head, and was like, I could do this. And then it came out as fucking Tragedy.
Totally.
But Also, I have a question, dude. This is a legit question. Is Tragedy a hardcore band?
This is
Bro, right?
Remember
Your
when
sigh
we
is
were
exactly how I feel.
Remember when we were talking when you're on the stream or whatever, doing the live from the record store? You're like, I'm gonna organize my hardcore and punk sections, and I'm just like, don't mix up the bands. This is kind of what I was like saying. It's like,
well, so okay, in that respect, I put Tragedy in punk
categories. Yeah, they're a punk band. This is a punk band, but like it's a hardcore punk band. You know?
Yeah. Well,
if you
because
really
I know
be...
John from Empire Down really fucking loves Tragedy.
Yeah.
And I think that he refers to him as a hardcore band, and I never had heard that before.
I mean,
and I was like, hardcore band. And I was like, interesting. I mean, whatever, bro.
That.
Look, I am done arguing people about genres. I don't give a shit. You call Rancid whatever you want. You call Tragedy whatever you want. You call fucking Metallica whatever you want. I don't care. I like Tragedy. That's all that really matters to me. But,
totally, 100%.
I was really excited when they repressed Vengeance on vinyl recently. It was like, I don't know, a couple years ago. I didn't think I would ever find a copy of that on vinyl, and I was like, "Oh, I can get an affordable copy." I actually have one that's in my stash for the store.
Do yourself a favor and listen to their last 2 records they put out.
I definitely will now.
The 2018 and 2012 releases. They're very different than this stuff.
I would expect them to be pretty different.
But no, I really enjoyed. I like the way the album's recorded. I like the guitar tones a lot on this record too.
Oh, I love, dude. Okay, that's something we don't ever touch on typically. I love the production of this album. I talk production when I do my own breakdowns on an album and do a review. I always mention the production to some degree because I like.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm fond of, is like different styles of production. I don't know the technical terms all the time, but I can describe something pretty well. The production on this, it's got a very dense sound without it sounding muddy. It's like it's full. Like there's I don't feel like, okay, you know how sometimes on like old thrash albums you feel like they were playing the guitar in a hallway?
Yeah.
This is like you get some of the same riffs and sounds from those albums, but you don't get the same weird hollow tone.
It's very warm. It's a very warm sounding record.
Yes, that's a good descriptive word for this.
It's just kind of like it like encapsulates you. You know, it's very like the guitars are like rounded out, you know, well, and it just kind of, it has a wall of sound thing going on slightly, but it's polished, you know, whereas like some of the noisy stuff I like, it's a wall of sound, but it's like sandpaper over the top of the music.
Right.
This is like a smooth lacquer. You know.
Well, the thing is like there's also a spectrum for just about everything that we are into.
Yeah.
And I think this is on the lighter end of the spectrum for it's more accessible. But like,
yeah, this is very accessible. It's melodic. It's a very melodic record for one thing.
Well, you know what really bothers me is when people hear that and then they go, "Oh, well, Tragedy isn't real fucking D-beat. Real D-beat only sounds like this and this." And it's like, dude, stop it, man. Like, no, they just cared to put that sound together. Like, some people prefer a little bit less shimmer, and some people want it to be real slick, right, man. And it's honestly, same stuff. I don't understand how that matters. Like,
I can't think of another band that sounds like Tragedy. Tragedy is their own thing. You know what I mean?
Dude, like, they are very much. I know so many people with that little bird tattoo on them, bro. That's so many. Oh, dude, I probably know 15 people with that fucking in Texas, like just straight up most of them in Houston.
I think Tragedy toured Texas a lot when they were a band.
Dude,
like
we were huge fans of that shit, dude. I mean, the bands that we had that resembled it. I mean, dude, my old band was fucking called Crow's Feet, dude. Think about that name, man. Like, we were really dark, and when we changed our sound, we changed our name. We became Framed because our sound was just changing too much. It was getting too poppy. Honestly, we were like an early pop punk hardcore band. Like, but like, how do I say this? It was like skate punk hardcore, if that makes any sense. It wasn't like Blink-182 or Newfound Glory pop punk. It was like, but anyways, my point is like there was a bunch of dirty ass, like crusty punk shit happening in Houston for a while. It was awesome, man.
That's
cool. Awesome.
That's
awesome,
cool,
dude.
I love that. But no, I really enjoyed this record quite a bit. I feel like my one gripe about it is like it's a little too long, like in terms of like the for the number of songs there are and for the length of the record, it could be a little shorter.
Yeah, I mean, I would if I could have my perfect length album at 12 songs, it would probably be closer to like 28 to 30 minutes.
I was going to say 20 to 25 is where I'm at.
No, not with songs like this. They can't be that short. They wouldn't be the same album. It would be a completely different piece of work.
That's true.
So like, but I also agree with you that it's a little bit long. It goes a little bit long, but but it also has all the shit I like in it. It's got all the guitar work I want. It's got all the drums, the drummer. I like the vocals. The thing is that the guys that make up this band, they're in so many bands that I like.
So, by the way, the drummer of Tragedy was in Criminal.
Yes,
Damage.
I love that fucking band.
He was the guitar player for Criminal. He was the front man for Criminal Damage.
Dude, I want that on vinyl, but it's always like $50, and I just can't see.
Yeah, that's a band that I really regret not seeing when they were around, because they had like a 3-album run, and they broke up in like 2013, and that was it. And I'm like, fuck, But those bands like From Ashes Rise and Tragedy both. I mean, so From Ashes Rise is from Nashville, Tragedy is from Memphis. They're like buddies that essentially kind of like pioneered this like neo-crust sound, right? Like melodic crust D-beat stuff, and they moved to Oregon together pretty much.
Okay.
So they both like relocated to the Northwest, and that's where their home base was. I think.
What are you doing that is so noisy?
I'm not doing anything.
No, now I'm not hearing it. Okay, sorry. It just sounds like maybe I don't know. It's whatever. Fine, sorry. Did it sound like you were like maybe had like ice on a glass or something? It was like driving me nuts.
Definitely don't have ice on a glass.
It did it again. I don't know what the fucking noise is. Maybe it's not coming through on the actual recording. Then good. Yeah, dude. I don't know a lot about the band other than kind of that they pioneered the sound, because you are right. Even with their other projects. Sorry, I was just asking. I wasn't trying to sound as angry as I actually sounded.
Not okay.
Even with their other projects, with like Death Threat, Severed Head of State, His Hero Is Gone. Even those bands didn't. They still had the core sound of what Tragedy ultimately came out to sound like, but none of them had like all the parts. They were all missing something. Tragedy is like a fucking. It's like you remember that show Voltron?
I do.
All those bands came together to form Tragedy, bro. Like that's what it felt like to me. I always heard that they shared members with From Ashes Rise. I didn't know that they didn't.
No,
that's interesting.
There's like zero crossover there. I mean, there might have been like some fill-in situations, but the band members, the core band members, are completely different.
That's good to know, because I honestly was like, man, that kind of sucks. I would like to know that From Ashes Rise, dude. That guy's vocals are amazing, bro. Love that guy's vocals.
Yeah.
But like I like a higher pitch, like Filth, Grimple.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear what I like, you're like, oh, I can figure that out. But like the deeper stuff is good, but I prefer the higher pitch stuff. But yeah, man, I'm trying to think of some of the other bands we had. Remember when Wolf was in everybody's band name? The word Wolf
Pack, Wolf Brigade.
Oh, dude, we had I Am Wolf down here, which was fucking amazing, dude. It was like, imagine if Liberty and Justice and Tragedy cross-pollinated.
Interesting.
Because it was Ryan's band, and you could tell that he was going to go on to. It was very, very good rock and roll, dirty, crusty rock and roll shit. I don't even know how to explain it. You might like it, actually. I need to send you a link to that.
I'm down here. Well,
not much else to talk about, man. Tragedy is a great band. Vengeance is a great album. It's got everything that I want to hear in a band, or like a. I don't know. It's honestly, people are going to get irritated by me saying this is like a perfect D-beat album. Like, I think that Discharge like walked so that Tragedy could run.
The last thing I wanted to add about Tragedy was like they're highly influenced by all the like Japanese bands, but they took all that Japanese shit, specifically a type of Japanese D-beat.
Okay.
Burning Spirits, which was this like essentially a style of like Japanese hardcore that had a lot of leads, melodic leads in them, and they kind of adapted them. So if you listen to the singer of Tragedy, like he's a big like Japanese punk and hardcore nerd.
That's awesome.
So they took a lot of like the Swedish and Scandinavian stuff and the Japanese stuff and adapted it into like their own kind of formula and made it accessible for the American audience and or just the international audience.
That's pretty obvious that you can tell they have a wide variety of influences. Like you can tell that they listen to stuff like At the Gates. You can tell that they also listen to Discharge. You can tell they probably like Motorhead a little bit. Like you can tell, like it's in there.
Like they love the metal stuff too, you know?
Right. Obvious. You know, I want to know, like, because, you know, Rance is my favorite band. I always try to, like, I don't try. It just kind of always happens. I always, like, equate things to what Rancid guys are thinking or saying. But I'd like to hear Lars's, like, opinion on this band because I know he likes some heavier stuff. He loves GBH. He loves Discharge. He loves Motorhead. I wonder if this has ever come across his fucking plate and he's been like, let me listen to this. I bet he knows who Tragedy is.
I'll bet you he loves them.
Yeah, probably does. Matt Freeman probably does too. He likes a lot of that like darker music.
A D-beat guy. I can see Lars being in a D-beat band.
Dude, honestly, his vocals are really good. That would sound.
He's a great guitar player too. So
I think so.
I mean, he's pretty much the guitar player in Rancid at this point. So Tim doesn't really do much.
Bro, Tim has mastered the art of being like,
he just holds the guitar.
I'm gonna hang out.
Yeah, he just holds the guitar and says a bunch of words you don't understand.
Tim, I'm gonna hang out Armstrong.
Yeah. But Lars, I wouldn't. He's been in bands that actually practice where I practice.
Really?
There's a big like 3-story complex in like
Oakland. We have one of those down here too.
Like the Oakland Music Complex. So most of the bands in the East Bay practice there because that's just where you go. You know what I mean? You get a room there. So I think the Old Firm Casuals used to practice there a lot.
They have a new album coming out this year. I'm like really intrigued by that because
I mean he's around here, man. I mean you could probably get in touch with the guy if you tried hard enough.
Oh, I have his phone number.
Why don't you just text him?
Because I fucking hate bothering people, man.
I mean,
I'll DM him first and just say, hey, man, you know, I don't know if you remember talking to me this much, but you gave me your phone number a while back, and I was wondering if I could hit you up for a podcast episode. I just feel like there's a level of like respect given when I just DM you versus trying to text. I don't know. I just want to.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit too aggressive for the first.
And you know, if we talk a little bit, then I'll say, hey, I got your number still. You mind if I text you? Because he called me is how I got his number. I didn't ask for it. He called me at my comic book shop, and we talked about stuff for his kids. He's such a regular ass dude. Like it was awesome. That's why I know if I can just get him to get some time, I can talk to him. I know he's super relatable. He's a regular ass guy. He is one of the most unwarranted hate that I've ever heard in my life. I said that all backwards. He gets some of the most unwarranted hate I've ever seen. Like people just love to hate that guy, but he's fucking cool, man.
All right.
There was something else I was going to say before we get out of here. Can't remember what it was. Fuck. Yeah, there's something I needed to tell you too. Oh well. I'll send you a link to that I Am Wolf stuff. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I want to hear it.
Me and Rob, we're gonna do The Damned.
Oh, The Damned.
And we're gonna do Shock Troops.
Oh man, you get to do the cool stuff with him. You pick the obscure fucking weird stuff that no one wants to hear about with me.
I mean, we just did.
I'm just kidding.
You picked Skid System, you motherfucker.
I'm totally kidding, dude.
So, okay, well, the reason we picked those is because those artists are going to be at PRB.
Yeah.
And I probably won't do another one of these until I get back from Punk Rock Bowling because it is next weekend. So, that being said, would you like to do some artists from Punk Rock Bowling?
Yeah, sure. I'll do.
Okay, so let's see. Okay. Do you want to try to do some like Peter Hook projects, or do you want to go more into like punk stuff?
Whatever you want to do.
All right, fuck it. Let's go real. Let's be real stupid. Let's do
Yeah.
What?
You pick this time.
I know you don't like Social Distortion, so we'll skip that.
I mean, that doesn't mean I can't talk about them.
No, I know, but I'm not gonna make you listen to a whole ass album I know you don't like them.
I'll do it. I'll just shut up the whole time.
I know you will.
The band's boring as shit.
I mean, I disagree with that, but I can see why you think that. I'm not going to say like, they're fucking. I get it, but I disagree.
I think like stylistically, it's a thing. People like it or they don't. You know.
All right, fuck it, dude. We're gonna do a homie of mine. We'll do Power Trip.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
R.I.P. Riley.
Manifest Decimation, and then let's do. Oh shit, dude! Yeah.
Speaking of band with riffs, man, Power Trip's got riffs for days.
You ain't lying, bro. That's what I was thinking about. Just banging my fucking head for a solid hour. Okay, you want to do Youth Brigade?
Which album?
You pick.
Okay, yeah, I like Youth Brigade.
All right, let's do Youth Brigade and
is Power Trip playing Punk Rock Bowling?
Yeah, bro.
What? That's crazy.
Well, you know they have that other band called Fugitive, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so basically it's the entire band Power Trip with a new singer called Fugitive. Well, they did that Riley Gale tribute show thing with the Fugitive singer, and they just did Power Trip songs because it's literally the whole band with a different singer.
I thought the guy from Municipal Waste was in Power Trip now.
Fuck, dude, I don't think so.
Yeah, Tony Foresta.
Shut the fuck up.
No, he's the singer, bro. Of Power Trip now. I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, dude. That was awesome. I'll have to hold on, dude. Seriously?
I'm pretty sure, man.
Wait, okay.
Am I wrong?
Let's see. It says here it's okay. Yeah, I think it's the singer of Fugitive.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think Seth Gilmore. Yeah, it's the singer of Fugitive. Maybe that, but I heard that they did something together, so I don't know what the something was. So no. I knew that. But man, I love Municipal Waste. That's one of the few like metal bands cool. I really. But yeah, let's do. What album is Youth Brigade? What I don't really know a lot about them. I've listened to them a fair bit, but I don't know a lot about them.
Youth Brigade is like, yeah.
I'm trying to see which album I used to have. I know I had one of them on
BYO Records. Sync with California is a good one.
Oh, that's how I heard about Youth Brigade. They did a split with Swingin' Utters. That's how I got a hold of those guys.
On their own fucking label.
That's
on
right.
Sean Stern's label, BYO Records. Yeah.
Bro, I was like, why do I know that band? So like I knew something. Okay, so yeah, well, you pick whatever album you like the best, and we'll do that one.
I'll let you know.
Cool. Oh, dude, that's gonna be fun, man. Power Trip and Youth Brigade, that'll be a good time. Awesome. I will talk to you before I go to PRB. I got a couple of streams to go. I think I'm gonna do Wednesday and Thursday next week because I'll be gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I'll do Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll try to do some kind of something from PRB, and then I'll see if I can set Chris up to do stuff on Friday night for y'all and Sunday night.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We love you guys. Let us know how bad we suck in the comments, please. I need long, descriptive, like paragraphs of like why we suck, why we're not cool, and how big of a poser specifically I am, and then
how we can improve.
How we can improve. I need to know how bad my musical tastes are, what your favorite bands are. I need to know about your family drama, and
all that shit.
How tiny your dick is. Yeah.
Especially that.
I need just show up in the real tight jeans. We'll be all right. Bro, that shit was wild, man. Whole ass dick showing.